Hey everybody, welcome back to my genre series. This week I'm going to tackle sci-fi. I was going to do comedy, but I want a little bit more time for that. And so today I'm going to talk a little bit about my top 10 sci-fi movies and what I really enjoy about each of these films. I'm not going to go into depth with the plot summaries or anything. I'm just going to talk about the aesthetics that I really enjoy about it and really what makes each of these unique in its own self. Alright, so let's start off with number 10. Number 10 is Looper. It's a movie starring Bruce Willis and Joseph Gordon-Levitt as... They're both loopers. Well, they're actually the same person, which the trailer gives us away. But there's the future self and there's the past self, and they're trying to close this loop because what Joseph Gordon-Levitt, he works for this crime syndicate where he takes care of the bodies in the future and also in the past, and has to get rid of them. But when he's set to kill himself to close the loop, all things go haywire. There's a lot of cool effects in this movie. There's some psychic abilities that some of the people in this movie have. It's in the near future and really discusses a lot about things that we can do with if time travel was ever even possible. How many things would domino like a butterfly effect. And I really enjoyed this, and I really enjoy the child actor in this movie. And I think it's one of the you'll see if you watch this film. I think he's one of the best child actors out there right now, and it really surprised me how scary this child did in this movie. Alright, number 9 is The Fountain. This is a trippy movie. There's like 3 storylines going all at once. It's starring Hugh Jackman and Rachel Weisz. It's all for the search of the Fountain of Youth. So trying to gain immortality or eternal beauty kind of in this aspect in 3 different timelines, but are somehow a little bit connected. And I really enjoy this aspect of the film. It's a very odd film to watch for the first time, but it's definitely worth checking out. It's really short and it's not too long. The thing I really enjoy about this film is the visual effects. There's a lot of crazy things that happen in this movie that I haven't seen anywhere else, and definitely worth checking out. Alright, my number 8 is Sunshine. This is Danny Boyle's sci-fi movie. It reminds me of a lot like Alien. My friend actually told me when I was about to borrow this film, was like, do you like Alien or Aliens? It's like, yeah, I love those movies. And they're like, it's like, well, this is a different version of that with a lot of claustrophobic scenes, some crazy things happening on a spaceship in a really crowded room. But what they're sent to do is these scientists are sent to blow up atomic bombs into the sun to reignite it, because the sun has been dying in this sci-fi world here, and they're trying to reignite it with atomic bombs. But a lot of crazy things happen in this movie that you just don't expect, and definitely one of the better space movies out there. Definitely check out Sunshine. Guess who's back? It's Terminator 2, Judgment Day. I am not very good at Schwarzenegger. I used to be a little bit better. But this is one of the best sequels of all time. It's really where he's sent back to save Sarah Connor and Jack Connor from another Terminator, and hell ensues from there, and there's just like Judgment Day ensues. It's very biblical and really Revelations with some of the sequences and actions in this awesome chase / thriller / sci-fi movie that I really enjoy. But I need to see this movie a little bit more often to really comment on it. But I really enjoyed a lot of the aspects of this movie, and there's a lot of scenes that really just stick out in my mind. I remember the sequence with the explosion, the imaginary explosion that would happen if this bomb got set off. There's also another scene with that, and I'm not really going to talk about that one too much because it's going to give stuff away. But yeah, definitely check out Terminator 2, Judgment Day. It's really, really good movie. Alright, number 5 is just The Matrix, not Matrix Reloaded or Revolutions. Just watch the first one. This movie was groundbreaking in 1999. It's got Neo, Morpheus, and Trinity, all played by great actors, Keanu Reeves, Lawrence Fishburne, and Carrie-Anne Moss. This movie is starring this guy who really is like kind of sick of his job. It's like an office job, and then something happens where it takes him to another dimension, and a lot of crazy things happen. Like really, it questions a lot of what is reality? What's our reality? Do we perceive it through our senses, or is there something greater, or is there something that's really connecting and taking away from our reality? And this one happens to be machines doing a simulation of simulated reality, and most people are actually in this machine, in this hive mind of postmodernism. And I think that really is what makes this movie really unique, and a lot of the action sequences in this film have been tried and copied throughout a lot of other films, but definitely one of the most original films to make a cut here. So yeah, definitely check out the first Matrix if you want. You can check out Reloaded. It's actually okay, and then Revolutions is not that good, but if you want to be a completionist, be my guest, okay? Alright, number 5, Aliens. This is another great sequel to a really, really good movie by Ridley Scott. This is actually a movie Honestly, just as the name suggests, it's aliens, so it's plural, but also there's multiple aliens instead of just the one. When Ridley survived the first movie. And so this is a little different. It's a little bit in the future, and there's some more things that happen, and I really don't want to get into it, but it has those claustrophobic moments and those scary moments that really made Alien unique, and this just builds upon it, and there's this awesome climactic battle at the end between Ridley and the Queen of the aliens. It's one of the more iconic scenes that I've always just thought of as, when I'm watching a film. Anyways, enough about that, I'm rambling. Definitely check out Alien and Aliens. You can check out the other ones as well, but the first two are the best. My number 4 is Blade Runner, another Ridley Scott movie starring Harrison Ford. Now this has been made so many times in different versions. There's like 5 versions of this movie, and I've only seen 2 of them. I've seen the original theatrical cut that came out, and I've seen the final cut, which is what Ridley Scott really wanted you to see. And there's a lot of crazy movie things that happen in this movie that really set up a lot of the dystopian, futuristic kind of movies that I've already talked about on this list, and it really has really had a cult following underground, and I can't really wait till Blade Runner 2049 when Harrison Ford reprises his role, and Ryan Gosling is in it too, but Denis Villeneuve is in the director's seat instead of Ridley Scott, and I believe in Denis Villeneuve. He did Arrival, Sicario, Prisoners, among a bunch of other movies. Definitely check out Blade Runner. I don't want to talk about it too much, but there's some sequences in this film. It depends on which version you're watching, but I definitely prefer you watch the final cut, which is what it really was meant to look like. And there's definitely different color contrast with each of the films. There's different scenes that happen. This unicorn scene doesn't happen in some of them. And so you're going to have to figure out which one would you want to see, the true intention of the artist. Harrison Ford, playing this guy's on the run, but also at the same time trying to figure out answers to his own reality. So definitely check out Blade Runner. All right, we're at the top 3. My number 3 is 2001: A Space Odyssey. To me, this movie started, I only saw it recently. I just want to tell you that for the first time, but I understand completely where a lot of other sci-fi movies have taken liberties from this movie. Stanley Kubrick's 2001: A Space Odyssey is a trippy movie with so many good practical effects and visual effects. The movie is very oddly juxtaposed and put together, but it makes sense if you watch it multiple times, and you can tell a lot of these scenes, you can tell a lot of this stuff has been borrowed. But yeah, Stanley Kubrick's 2001: A Space Odyssey has really influenced a crap ton of sci-fi movies today and really set the tone for a lot of the things. I can see Planet of the Apes and I can see Star Wars just emulating a lot of the things that are happening in this movie. And to me, this is definitely the groundwork for a lot of sci-fi, like in the modern era. I think the sci-fi of the past was like H.G. Wells and kind of, War of the Worlds-y, but this definitely turned sci-fi on its head, made it really odd and weird, and really set the tone for a lot of things that have come out lately. Alright, my number 2 is controversial for some. I have some friends who don't like this movie, but I love it a lot. Interstellar. This movie made me cry and tear up. This is all about time travel as well, a little bit. It's a dying Earth, and they're trying to figure out ways to sustain life outside of it. Matthew McConaughey is sent away with a crew, and this movie has it's a lengthy movie, but it has so much emotional impact on you with some of the lines and some of the things that happen in this movie really change your outlook on a lot of things. And I always love how Christopher Nolan has some kind of theme with each of his movies, and this one is about love. And it's really strange, but you'll understand if you've seen this movie what he means by love, and it being a circular kind of movement that transcends time. And so that's something I really enjoy about this film, and it grounded me when I first saw it. I remember seeing it with my 2 roommates at the time, and we went at like 10 o'clock at night. This is probably like a week after it's got released, and boy, did we all bawled our eyes out, and also like just talked about it for like 2 hours after we didn't go to bed till like 2 o'clock. Anyways, definitely check out Interstellar because it makes you think, and it requires your full attention. So definitely check this movie out. Alright, my number 1, not so surprised to some people, I'm going to pick Star Wars Episode 5, Empire Strikes Back. Instead of choosing all the Star Wars films, I want to think of the best sequel of all time, which in my opinion is Empire Strikes Back. Now, George Lucas, he's done amazing work here. Maybe not on adapting some of the things he wanted to put in later. That's another story on its own. But he's definitely done some great things with Empire Strikes Back. It's just a better movie than A New Hope, and then it gets a little silly with Return of the Jedi. a little bit with some aspects of it. But yeah, this starts off, they're on Hoth, which is a snow planet, and there's the Empire's, tracked them all down. They're trying to find Luke, and they're trying to like stop the rebellion. And then it moves on. You meet Yoda for the first time in this movie. You kind of meet the Emperor a little bit in this movie as well. There's some awesome bounty hunter scenes with this. There's a really fantastic scene at the end, which is iconic. To me, just really pushes home the concept of good versus evil, and really the concept of father and son, lost father and lost son, having different goals in mind, and it really builds upon that relationship. It's a stepping stone from A New Hope to Return of the Jedi, and you can see the story get fleshed out right in this movie, and that's why I like this movie, and that's why I love all these movies. Alright, so that was my top 10 sci-fi movies of all time. I know I didn't go too much into depth with some of them. It's been a while since I've seen a lot of them, so I need to refresh my mind on a lot of it. Let me know what you think down below, comment, like, and share, and I'll see you next time. I'm not jonesing around.